strategy wise, how would you say, how did you land? Let's hear that. How? Let's hear the story of how you landed that buck that you recently got.
I'll be honest, never had him on camera. So that makes it even more worthwhile. But, I was told I wasn't going to have a hunting season this year with my surgeon, and everything with my back. So, I just kind of felt lost and kind of like out of it. And then my surgery got delayed, which was like, instant like prep time. Let's go. Let's get this done. Found a lot of challenges along the way, try to change my spot around, food plots, last minute food plots. Cameras got to be out. My stand that my dad actually had hunted in for years, I took it over. It actually broke. So I'm glad it broke with me not in the stand. So I had to, do all that preparation, put a new stand up, all that stuff. I was chasing a buck that I was after last season. He actually made it. And, it was this constant back and forth tag game. And I'm like, oh man, like, he's daylighting while I'm at work. It's never going to happen. I'm running out of time. And that last morning, I had that, November 3rd, because my surgery was on the 7th. I remember waking up and I'm like, oh shit, it's daylight savings, I'm up at 2:00. I'm making sure like I'm up. I don't want to have an issue. Went back to sleep for another 2 hours, got back up, got dressed. I remember, getting the quad started and heading to my spot. I parked away like about a mile from my stand. I said bye to Sean because he was also hunting that morning with me, wish good luck wishes. And it's not easy terrain where I hunt. It's mountains. So, got to climb up to one ridge and then climb up another ridge. And it takes a good while to get there. And I just remember hearing like these coyotes so close. And I'm like, oh, this is going to mess up the hunt, or, I'm going to die out here, but I'm dying doing what I love. So, but anyway, so I just kept going, and then I climbed up to my spot and I got situated, well, actually before I got situated, I put out, some scent and everything on a wick, and I got situated, and just remember just praying, just thankful that I had a season, and, watching the woods wake up and the sunrise, and all of a sudden it wasn't, totally light yet, but, you could still see a little bit out of your peripheral. Yeah. So I just remember hearing all this commotion, and I'm like, something's chasing, but I don't know what yet. And then I saw the doe from my peripheral, and then I heard a grunt and a snort wheeze, and I'm like, oh man, it's going to happen. So I was patient, calmed myself down, and all of a sudden I see this just rack, and I'm like, oh wow, he's new. I'm like, just got to calm myself down. And then he worked his way towards us. The doe was at my pile already. He kind of like did a circle around her. He gave me a hell of a show. Let me tell you, he really worked a scrape. He was rubbing his antlers, snort wheezing, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. And then, when the moment was right, he gave me a 20-yard shot.
Oh.
And he dropped right there, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm like looking at my binoculars, and I'm like, first of all, like I never have ever really shot a deer that early in the morning before, So I'm like looking, and all I see is just this one drop tine sign. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, what a buck. I couldn't wait to like get down and check him out. It was quite a buck. I mean, I worked so hard. I mean, I give credit to everybody who hunts, and, it's not easy. We work real hard, for it. And just that relief of, oh my gosh, I finally have meat to put in my freezer again. Usually I like to try to get at least 2 deer for myself. That'll keep me, good for about a year. But I was like, wow, what a blessing on my last day in the morning. It was great.
Funny how the story goes. Last day, at crunch time, and you tag out, you punch that tag, and you're satisfied. You got a story on the wall and meat in the freezer. Was that a crossbow harvest, or was that a compound harvest?
It was a crossbow harvest. I have a lot of issues this season with my hand. I fractured my hand. Luckily, it's better now. Of course, my surgery, I can't risk pulling back my bow.
What kind of crossbow were you using?
I have a 10-point.
10 point.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
a
it.
couple of my buddies got 10 points. I actually shot a deer with a 10 point when my bow was in the shop. I borrowed my one
Yeah.
GT 400 or so, 380 Nitro.
Yeah, those are good.
35-yard shot, a shot I wouldn't have taken with a compound. I used the crossbow, and it got the job done.
It does. It does get the job done, and especially if you're hurt, things like that, they do come in handy. And I did leave out a part. That buck did have a broken leg. So I just thought about it. So when that doe was at the pile, when he was circling, he got close to her, she darted. So I literally had like 3 seconds to make a decision. So I'm like, either he's going to take off with that broken leg. I'm like, I kind of had a little advantage with that too. So I left that